Yeah, I do think that PayFi can potentially be a larger market than centralized exchanges in the upcoming 10 years. SWIFT, Visa, MasterCard, all these systems work well, but it typically take 5%-ish cost along the way due to forex exchange, due to just like trading fee and transaction fees and different layers of banks. It's a huge amount of money and time that we can save using stablecoin and PayFi.
All right. Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Nice meeting you, David.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. To start with, can you please tell me your name and what you do?
Sure. I'm Gracy Chen. I'm CEO of Bitget. Bitget is one of the largest centralized exchanges today.
Very, very good. Well, we'll talk about Bitget soon, but I would like a little history about yourself first.
Sure.
Can you please tell me kind of the path that you took to become where you are now?
Sure. So the first time I learned about Bitget was in 2015. Bitcoin was in 2015 when I was a TV journalist. So a few of my TV friends asked me, Gracie, you should check out Bitcoin.
Wow.
And then I read the Bitcoin white paper and I bought some Bitcoin and Ethereum and XRP in 2015. Glad that at that time, Bitcoin was only about $500. So it went pretty well. I also did some secondary and primary market investments until 2022. And one of my portfolio companies is called Bitget, and today it's called Bitget Wallet. And that's how I get to know the Bitget team, Bitget funding team, and subsequently joined Bitget as the first managing director, looking after everything, external marketing, branding, etc. 1 year ago, about roughly the same time, like May of 24, I became the CEO.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
1 year anniversary. So you said you were introduced to Bitcoin in 2015. It sounds like you were not very skeptical at first. It sounds like you kind of jumped in.
Yeah. I was skeptical. That's why I didn't buy enough. But I did buy some. So I would say my risk appetite, and also at that time I was like barely a graduate student. I just graduated from my bachelor degree. Didn't have that much money. Made a little bit investment and it went pretty well. So I wasn't very skeptical, but I wouldn't say that I totally believed in Bitcoin and decentralized ledger fully as much as I do now.
Yeah. I mean, same for me too. I remember some friends not bothering, but telling me about Bitcoin. I was like,
And you thought it's bothering.
I did at the time. They were trying to save me.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. And then, so you started, because you became the CEO of Bitget 1 year ago, approximately. Yeah. Man, that's a big change, I feel like.
It is.
Yeah. What has been, well, we'll get to that in a little bit. But for me, I think one of the most difficult things about like a centralized exchange is you're kind of like a honeypot, right? Like you always have a target on your back.
Yeah.
And in the past, like 6 months to 1 year, there have been different problems with that. I remember Suzu with Oxout Fund had an issue, Hyperliquid, and Bitget recently. Can you tell me about the situation? What happened? What's going on?
You mean the recent incident that we had? So it's actually only about 2 weeks ago that there is a trading pair called VOXEL /USDT. And it's a trading pair that we've had for a long time, but it's an altcoin. So as you know, like altcoin liquidity issues, and it wasn't that lot of liquidity. And due to like one of our market makers, a little bit like trading bots, security issue, people can buy at, I think, 0.14 and sell at 0.15 by default. It's minor difference, but like users can get like arbitrage and get a lot of money out of it, especially with leverage. So there are some users, especially VIP users, normal users, but there are also groups that are very focused on behaviors like this. Like we call it black area or gray area. Like as you probably know that it's been an industry already.
Yeah. It's gotten bigger too.
It's very big, and lots of them were based in certain regions like China, Shenzhen, like Southeast Asia, and we were exploded by that. Not way, but more like our market makers, but of course ourselves are also affected because this trading pair happened on Bitget. There were lots of users who got that arbitrage opportunity, and we were fine. So we'll just let them know that that whatever money that they earn out of it, some like thousands and even near millions, we're okay. But for certain groups who were pretty much like triggered that liquidity issue and the bot issue, we basically wanted to clear that out. And yeah, VOXEL is more of like a futures trading pair that had some issue 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But today it's solved, and no user were really like losing anything. There were a few hours of withdrawal frozen, but it's all sorted today.
That's great to hear. I've been in crypto since 2017, and I like to think that I know, a medium amount of stuff, but it's only been in the past like 6 months that I've really become aware of kind of this cat and mouse game between the exchange and then people who are on the exchange, and they're trying to find all these little kind of like
loopholes.
Yeah, little loopholes and stuff. It's pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
I think it would be good for like lots of more people to know that this is like a constant battle, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It's definitely crucial to for the exchanges to have something like protection fund. So for example, for us, since 2022, we've had a 200 mil. Today it's worth more than 650 mil of protection fund, where if any of our users got hacked or got exploded due to unstable security or systems, and they lost some money, we use a protection fund to compensate them. But if it's an issue that is more systematically like triggered by certain bad behaviors and bad horses in the industry, we want to flag that as well.
Yeah.
So for us, it's very important to balance like normal users and innocent users versus bad behaviors. And we do use our protection fund to cover our users' loss if anything happened. And by the way, no hack ever happened to Bitget.
Nice.
That's something I'm pretty proud and I hope to continue maintaining that.
Yeah, I mean, that's crucial for like people watching this to understand. You have like a spectrum of security problems for all the, exploits all the way to hacks, and they're different. Okay. Right. Now, as an exchange, I felt like there's always kind of a tension with like exchanges in DeFi. Do you think that they kind of coexist? Are you in competition? Do you work together? How do you see the future moving with exchanges and DeFi?
Yeah. Centralized exchanges and decentralized exchanges, I think they will coexist. And for us, we actually thought about this a long time ago, even before I joined Bitget. Like I mentioned, Bitget was a decentralized wallet, and that's how I get to know the team. Because Bitget and our whole ecosystem, we invested in Bitget before I joined. So since 2021 and 22, we started to know how important it is to have a DeFi sector. And that's why we firstly invested and then acquired Bitget.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons I get to join the team. But basically, in my opinion, these two will coexist because users' behavior on two platforms are still quite different.
I agree.
If it's a new user to the space, they tend to be onboarded through centralized exchanges because it offers you a silk smooth user experience, very good on-off ramp channels, so that new users who doesn't own any crypto can easily change their fiat to crypto and then start trading with centralized exchanges. But as time goes by, certain more professional traders, including myself, that your risk appetite became higher, you wanted to explore lots of altcoins that are not listed on centralized exchanges, you may need to use DeFi, and you want to do staking and lots of, DeFi activities. And then for you use the decentralized exchanges more. But in the future, I think this will coexist, and they kind of just target to different user groups.
Yeah, I like that. It's almost like the user journey starts
Somewhere, yeah.
And should probably start with like a centralized exchange, right?
Because
they can kind of hold your hand, and then DeFi really it's just kind of pushes you into the deep end. So yeah.
Yeah, and also for an exchange like us, we actually launched our DeFi product. We call it Bitget On-Chain very recently this year, so that our users also get to go from the centralized exchange platform, but get to choose a lot more tokens, because listing is just another process that's very complicated and has some like human factor, AI factor as well, but it just takes much longer for any token to be listed on centralized exchanges.
That was my next question. Great lead in. I think, especially recently, one of the biggest challenges, from my opinion, I'm not in an exchange, but is that listing process, right?
Okay.
And I heard from a market maker that CZ was saying, why don't we just open the floodgates and list every coin?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was like, no, don't do that. And then another market maker, Jordy Alexander, he was saying that maybe the solution is using very advanced AI models who can kind of like pick and choose. So first, do you think that is one of the biggest challenges for exchanges, is the listing process? And how do you think it's going to evolve over time?
Yeah, I think so. So exchanges face a situation which is like a dilemma. We want to offer lots of tokens so that our users have choices. But if the floor or the bar is too low, lots of, random projects who is not doing anything or who is just like rogging people got to be listed, and then our users may lose money, and basically we also don't want to endorse projects like that.
Of course.
Because even if we are just a platform who is neutral, but once you list something, people think you are like a little bit like an endorsement. And are your users will be able to trade this token no matter buy or sell, but more retail users are buying tokens rather than selling, right? So that's a dilemma we're facing. We want to be, colorful and lots of choices, but we also don't want to be we want to be selective as well.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So back to the solution, why there's no 100% sure answer. Some offer, human peak, some offer AI. We do a combination. We do have like a hybrid system, especially for our on-chain product. It's more AI, like looking at different matrix and then select, and human just kind of do a final check. Well, for our centralized exchanges, it's more like human process, because we are not just listing the token, we also want to collaborating with the project to drive mass adoption, to drive more users to our platform. And we have a team, like a listing manager team that is talking to those projects and see how we can get this process together and get a win-win-win situation for exchange, project, and our users.
Yes.
Drive liquidity, drive adoption. So it's for the centralized exchange, like the pure non-on-chain part, it's still more human-driven, but we have bots to detect certain risk issues. We'll do like the contract review and see if there's any loophole on the contracts that they may go, for example, an inflation model.
Right.
And check on any security issue. And even if we listed this token, we do have another process, like another just a set of bots to check. For example, this token price dropped too much. 30% per day is a red flag. And then I will also receive notification
Right.
that
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
token
yeah.
is like a little bit normal non-normal behavior. And we have a delisting process. So it's just like a whole, a little bit complicated, different matrix and different processes to balance it out. But our goal is quite simple and straightforward, which is to list as many good tokens as possible.
Right.
And
Yeah.
our users have lots of choices.
Yes. I mean, I remember when the Trump token was announced, and I was at another conference, and I was like, "No, this can't
What
be
is
real.
that?"
This can't be real." And then I looked it up, and then I saw it, and then there was like 5 Trump tokens already.
Okay.
Within like 20 minutes, there was like 5 Trump tokens. Like, oh, it's certainly not real. Went back to sleep, and then I woke up and I was like, oh, it was real, but only one of them was real, right? I mean, so this kind of illustrates the problem of.
Yeah.
And then I know people who unfortunately they bought the wrong token, right?
Yeah. But by the way, just to give you a little bit color to Trump token, for example, even for centralized exchanges, we have different speed or appetite for listing a token. So take Trump, for example, when it was listed on most decentralized exchanges, it's probably like $5 to $10. And I saw the token at its price of about $3, and then we started to discuss like we tend not to list any political token, even if Trump himself retweeted it. We know it's real, it's true, but we had a little bit like struggle. That's human nature and human process, right? And we decided to list the token at about 10, and we listed it because we need to get our market makers, like all the market makers who are working with us, to be ready for liquidity. So lots of things need to happen within just a couple of hours.
That's
and
so
we
cool.
listed the token at $15, which is not too bad. And observed, and it went pretty well. Like lots of users can't buy it at some other bigger central exchanges like Binance, and
That's
they
right.
bought it at ours. And when Binance listed the token on their spot market, I think it was $60 already. And the highest it went up was like 75. And there were like some Korean exchanges, some Robinhood exchanges listed the token, but it was at a later process. So that's exactly what I mean by Bitget's mindset and process is like, we want to list something, we try to be faster, but we also want to make sure like this process looks great, because I need to get my market makers ready, and I need to notify them and get the liquidity there.
Yeah.
So we're doing our best, although not perfect.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah. That would have been, I think, very fascinating just to listen to, those initial talks, right? Trump has a coin, like, what?
Well, yeah.
And they're like, oh, should we listen? Oh, no.
And no political, no.
Yeah. Must have been really good conversations.
And we still have to do it because it's needed by our people, our users.
Cool. All right, couple more questions. Second to last question is, so Bitget also does investments.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering right now, what kind of things are you interested in? What do you think is going to perform well in the next, 18 months, let's say?
Yeah, so Bitget's, so last year we invested in a couple of OTC deals to top 50 tokens, including TON, Aptos. Those were more like OTC deal. That means it has a lockup period, but the team also gave us a little bit discount. So that's 2024. But 2025, I think there are still opportunities like that, and we are looking for opportunities like that. But another sector that came up a lot recently is PayFi and stablecoin.
Okay, yeah.
So I think currently, probably since 2024, lots of narratives and lots of growth from our industry started to come from RWA, from payment, where there are real use cases, and there is it's a huge market. I do think that PayFi can potentially be a larger market than centralized exchanges in the upcoming 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, because if you think about cross-border transactions today, Swift, Visa, MasterCard, all these systems work well, but it typically take you 3 to 4 days for your fund to arrive from one country to another country. And then 5%-ish cost along the way due to forex change, due to just like trading fee and transaction fees and different layers of banks will just take a share along the way. Yeah, so it's a huge amount of money and time that we can save using stablecoin and PayFi. And that's where I see lots of potential. We are incubating and we are investing in the sector. And then stablecoin, like I'm actually about to meet people from both Tether and Circle to discuss more stablecoin adoptions on centralized exchanges and on our PayFi sector. So this is a new sector that I'm fully and truly interested.
Very cool. No, I'll have to look out on the floor for PayFi. I was at Hong Kong Consensus and I listened to a really good talk. It was kind of about it was Tether with Tron talking about PayFi.
Okay.
So it's an interesting fact that you just said that you think it could be such a big thing,
a big sector.
It makes sense to me that especially in Asia, it would be really, really, really large. In the U.S., the current system, like you said,
it
works okay, good enough. But
credit card, everyone has.
Yeah. But in Asia, I feel like maybe in other less developed places, it would be just you'd see huge gains.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah.
All right, last question. So crypto is global. You obviously deal with countries and jurisdictions all over the world, though. I was just curious if you notice any differences between different regions, right? Like North America versus Europe versus Asia versus Latin America. Just curious if you guys have any kind of like maybe profiles or something about that. Different
sure.
groups.
If we were talking about user profile in terms of their differences, I think indeed like North American and Europe users, especially like the West Europe users, tend to be more financially literate, and that basically correlates to the fact that these are also have a higher financial education, and some are financial hubs, including New York and London. It doesn't mean that Asian users are not financially literate. It's just like they got interested in certain meme tokens, for example, or GameFi. If you remember last cycle when Axel Infinity was so popular in Philippines.
Yeah, that's right, the Philippines, yeah.
And that drives a lot of market adoption in Southeast Asia. So they also tend to love tokens similar to that. This cycle it may be something like a Tong, tap swap, like the tap to earn or whatever to earn game game tokens. So that's just like an interesting behavior. And I also noticed that Deping are very popular in, for example, Europe.
Oh, really?
So definitely lots of difference in terms of their token preferences. That's one thing. And then if you look at language, of course, different. And that's why we rely on our localized team a lot, making decisions in terms of in certain region, what token to list, who do we work with as partners, as influencers. So lots of difference, but I would say token choices is an interesting one.
That is interesting. Is it true that like maybe I'd imagine Europe and America are mostly like English primarily?
Yeah.
And whereas I've heard from some developers that one of the biggest issues that they had in expanding to Asia is it's very fragmented.
And languages.
And you can't rely on English, right?
Yeah.
You can't rely on English.
Yeah. You need to work with the local community, especially if it's a project who want to have local users or developers. You definitely want to work with certain local people. And even if within Asia, Chinese, Mandarin speaking, and Korean speaking, Japanese speaking, these are three very big markets already.
Yeah.
And if we look at Southeast Asia, that's just another whole world. Yeah. So it's a very interesting era to run a global exchange today. And by the way, we don't serve U.S. customers, but I do travel to U.S. a lot. to understand what's happening and to meet some of our local partners.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I know you're busy.
Thank you.
Appreciate
thank
the
you.
time. And we're done.